Imagine yourself standing in the red dust of Mars, looking out through a thick transparent dome. Outside is a deadly silent wasteland. No whisper of wind, only the sun's pale light spilling down. Far away, a low mountain ridge like a forgotten scar. Millions of kilometers away is that place called Earth. You know the ticket back might never be bought. This isn't a sci-fi movie scene, but the future our generation is desperately investing money to bet on. Many people ask if we can really build cities on Mars. The answer is actually simple. Don't rush to romanticize it. First, figure out what life would really be like there. First, the timeline. Although it changes every year, the general direction hasn't deviated. NASA's goal is to send people up in the 2030s, possibly achieving manned landing around 2035. We're still practicing on the moon with the Artemis program, paving the way step by step. SpaceX is more aggressive. Elon Musk says 2026 first unmanned starship to test the waters, possibly sending people in 2028 or 2029. The goal is to build a city for 1 million people by 2050. The UAE is even longer, term shouting to build human settlements in 2117. These numbers sound fanciful, but behind them is real money burning, and technology iteration speed is indeed frighteningly fast. In recent years, probes have found underground ice layers detected longer organic molecule chains. Even rock samples show possible chemical traces left by ancient microbes. These discoveries have reheated the old question of, does Mars have life? But for us building houses, more practical is that water ice can be sourced on site for fuel, oxygen, building materials. This directly lowers logistics costs. The Kardashev scale rates us now at 0.72, barely touching the threshold of level 1. Once we cross it, humanity can control planetary energy, manipulate matter at molecular level, rewrite atmosphere, transform surface. By then, Mars won't just be a barren island, but the next developable territory. But that day is still far. Now we haven't even truly taken the first step. In the short term, the focus is letting the first astronauts survive, not romantically live, but survive. Then the second batch of researchers long-term stationing, then truly those wanting to settle immigrants. Each batch's experience will differ vastly due to tech gaps. Now we're still in the most primitive stage, relying on fully enclosed shells to wrap ourselves up, completely isolated from outside. Waiting until we can massively transform the atmosphere. Then the Martians might already look quite different from us. The mainstream idea for building houses has basically unified. First, robots go up using situ resources for 3D printing shells. NASA in 2019 held a contest requiring printing habitats from Mars soil mixtures that can house 4 people for a year. 1,000 square feet with labs, kitchens, leisure areas. Winning schemes basically all follow this path. First, send unmanned machines to collect soil, mix with binders to print shells. Then, astronauts bring inflatable liners or prefab modules inside to decorate. Outer shell blocks radiation, temperature swings, dust storms. Liners provide airtightness and living functions. Modular design good for expansion, like building blocks one by one. Just having a shell isn't enough. People inside will face a bunch of troubles, radiation like chronic poison. Temperature swings from below 0 to above 0 by tens of degrees back and forth. Dust fine enough to drill into lungs. Low gravity makes blood rush to head, face swollen, legs thin, called puffy-faced chicken leg syndrome. Most fatal are psychological issues, completely disconnected from Earth, cramped space, high-pressure environment. Few people seeing each other every day, eating the same compressed food, doing the same things, for months or even years. Depression, conflicts, behavioral loss of control, all possible. During COVID years, many people broke down sealed at home. On Mars, no one to open door for fresh air. Closest environments on Earth are actually submarines, Antarctic research stations, lighthouses. In these places, people are tied dead to the building, your life directly tied to the walls. Wall thickness, airtightness, ventilation determine if you can breathe. Mars habitats will push this dependency to the extreme. Because outside is vacuum, take off clothes 20 seconds faint, breathe once lungs burst, few minutes done. So the shell is the lifeblood. Many design into cave feel, thick soil layers pressed on to block radiation, like Tunisia's underground villages, Matmata kind. Using the Earth itself as AC and wind wall, but on Earth these villages can still go out for air. On Mars you might never go out your whole life. That psychological connection, how to build. Some designers open multiple openings on shells, like Kanye Project multi-layer layouts, each layer looking out different scenery. Some do domes, only leave one or two fixed windows, view single but structure more stable. Internal organization also divides into two major categories, horizontal and vertical. In horizontal, some split functions into independent cabins like a string of beads, kitchen lab dorm separate. Some cram all into one big cabin, high efficiency but monotonous, easy to produce oppression. Courtyard layouts might promote socializing, but space feel easy to flatten, views repeat, walls always those few faces. Edward Hall in The Hidden Dimension talked about people's spatial sense as instinctual need. Cultures differ, needs also differ. Japanese paper walls can separate without deadness. Germans want thick walls to block sound. On Mars, if space design improper invades personal territory, will trigger primitive stress like Norwegian rat experiments. Density high, even if food water enough, behavior collapses, sexual chaos, aggression surges, finally population extinct. Humans more advanced, but limbic system still ancestors set. Low gravity, enclosure, isolation will amplify these instinct reactions. Vertical layouts have more layers, functions layered like bottom garden, middle public, top private. You from dorm go downstairs, inevitably pass garden and kitchen, high chance bump into teammates. Encounters, chit-chat, little surprises, these random interactions in highly programmed lives are especially precious. Everything planned, eat, sleep, work timed, only breaks monotony are these accidents. Vertical also creates scale sense, layer height changes, sight penetration, curiosity, hooked up, atmosphere lives. Some designs put garden at bottom, upper layers can overlook, both practical and like informal square. People inside walking, look up, see greenery. This much better than pure efficiency pipeline layouts. I personally prefer vertical not because romantic, but because in extreme environments what people fear most isn't starving, it is spiritual withering. Horizontal layouts too efficient, also too cruel, like assembly lines, all paths purpose explicit, no aimless wandering space, no accidents, no stories. But people live by stories, even if only 1% wandering time, enough to catch breath, enough on way to lab, glimpse others planting veggies, enough to feel here still has some human flavor. Mars architecture never just building houses, but building a set of survival institutions. Who inside, who calls shots, resources how divided, conflicts how resolved. Long-term, it will shape people's cognition, social memory, even next-generation Martians' bodies and psyches. First batch might be heroes, pioneers, later maybe ordinary immigrants, further on, maybe native-born Martians. They look at Earth news like we look at ancient Egyptian murals, so distant. Now we're still betting if First Step can succeed, but if win the bet, humanity really from single-planet species becomes multi-planet species. That shell, that layout, those invisible spatial dimensions will more profoundly than any declaration decide if we can on Mars live as people, not just a bunch of breathing data points.